You asked, I'm delivering. More Alina of the Arena starting right now. Hello, YouTube. It is I, sneakyteak. So glad to be back on this lovely day to dive back into Alina of the Arena. Tactics, roguelike, deck builder. Let's go. Missed the original introduction to the game, either our coverage of it during Demothon or our second peek? Look above for a card that will take you back to either of those two videos. Today we're going to dive straight into play. It is my goal to complete a full series of this game where we explore the different classes, the different difficulty levels, and all of the various items, events, interactions, and challenges that the game has to offer. And that starts right now. So let's play. Okay, last time we ran with the base class, Slave. We've also unlocked two more. Hunter, who starts with a rusty crossbow, and Warrior, who starts with a bit more health and a rusty longsword. They're starting with weapons, they're also starting with different decks. Looks like the base deck is the same. Strike, 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 guard, guard, strike, 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 guard, guard. Everybody starts with that. But then our Hunter has a roll, a la Dark Rolls, I think. Move one tile, reduce cost by 1 energy each time the card is retained this fight. Cost resets when played. And Crippling Trap. Place a Crippling Trap within 2 tiles. If I remember, Crippling Trap is an immobilize effect. I don't think it does any damage, but it might. It might do some damage. And Warrior starts with the same base deck of strikes and guards. Now hold up though. That's interesting. Instead of strike, 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 guard, guard, it's strike, 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 guard. There's 4 strikes and 1 guard per color. So more offensive, full on attack, deal 18 damage, self-exhaust. If this card is not retained at the end of your turn, it will be exhausted. Kick, deal 2 damage and knockback, and a war cry, which we actually drafted last time. Very offensive kit, holy crap. Let's go Hunter here, I think. It's curious to me that Hunter is actually tuned to have lower health, especially given that they have a reload weapon. It must be that this other tech is valued very highly. Yeah, let's do 1 run with Hunter and 1 run with Warrior, and then we can start making a more informed decision. I mean, no sense in overthinking it, right? We just don't have the experience. Once again, we'll be doing Veteran. I really liked the feel of the difficulty of Veteran last time. In we go. Yeah, and when I'm new to a game, like Alina of the Arena, I like to try to think about not just what does the game ask of me, but what is my top level goal? What's my meta framing, right? And with a new challenging roguelike, for the first several runs, it should be to experiment. It is explicitly not my goal to win. Not to say we're going to avoid it. I'm not going to try to lose. But you're setting yourself up for frustration and failure, or for long-term slow growth if you're focused on learning, or rather winning, before you have learned. I put the wagon in front of the horse. You've got to take time learning, and learning will involve some failure, some trial, some error, some experimentation. And so over the next few runs, not only do I want to check out the classes, but I want to be looking at some of the other parts of the kit that we could be taking, you know, different archetypes, this kind of thing. Okay, let's take a fight or two. Mystery shop I haven't seen before. A mysterious shop inside the arena. If it's really a shop, we probably want some money. We could go to meditate and start forgetting things right away, but I think I'd like to take a fight to get our bearings. Oh. Oh, never mind. Okay, this is a forced interaction. Mystery shop. A mysterious shop that only appears for returning gladiators. Everything in it must be purchased with kill coins, which you can get by progressing through each arena. That's what these are. And then that's effectively the ability to buy a starting bonus? Does it limit us to 1 purchase, or will we be able to stack kill coins? This is fascinating. The meta currency thing, I'm interested to see how I feel about it in a few runs. For now, let's look at what our options are. So our starting kit is, again, the basic 3 strikes, 2 guards per color, and then roll and crippling trap. We also start with Rusty Crossbow, increased damage by 1, but reload. Requires 1 combat of matching color to reload after each shot. And so the question is this actually going to give us range? It's not listed, so I wouldn't expect it to, but it might. We can take a Dog Charm. This is an accessory that says, gain 1 energy each turn. Equipped weapons cannot be swapped during fights. I actually kind of like this. Somebody told me in the comments that the equipment system can start to feel very gimmicky because you can constantly swap throughout the fight. In our first run, we were cursed, and so we couldn't swap. And I kind of like the way that that simplifies the game. Mountain Bracer, increase max HP by 14. Big. Oh, unlock item slots. Permanently increase 1 item slot. That's pretty sweet, unlock. Unlock accessory slot. Permanently increase 1 accessory slot. Great Sword, Shield Breaker, and Sword. These are things we've seen in previous runs, actually. Interesting that they're selling cards here. Draw 1 additional card when you draw a status. That could be quite fun. Play all fatigue in your hand, gain 1 strength each. Wow. Raise shield, gain block. Increase gain block by 2 each time the card is played this fight. Okay. I think I might actually take the Dog Charm here. Either that or unlock an item slot. It says permanently increase 1 item slot. What I want to know is that permanently across runs? Probably not, but let's take it. Dang, Dog Charm equipped weapons come up. It's so good. No, it's Dog Charm. We'll take Dog Charm. I want to know if this is a permanent, truly permanent unlock, like across runs. But I kind of doubt it. Okay, so that's neat. Random event. I don't know if random events can be shops. I kind of hope not. We don't have any money, which will limit the things we can do in a random event. But also, random event could give us something of great power. The host comes up to you and starts complaining about the lack of spectacle in recent matches. The audience needs to see more action, he exclaims. He wants you to add something extra to your matches and promises a better reward. More physical clashing. Take 6 hits to receive a health potion. Okay. This is like a quest. Show off a dazzling combo. Perform a 5-hit combo to receive a health potion M. Or deal massive damage. Deal 50 damage in a single attack to receive a health potion L. I'm going to take this because we're not going to be able to complete it in the first fight, and I'm curious to see how long this quest will stick around. Plus, health potion L is pretty sweet. Fight! Alright. 2 Hellhounds and a Tri-Archer. I saw the snag attack show up. Here's this glowing moat again under the damage that I haven't quite figured out. Right now they're shooting at a rock. I don't want to get immobilized. I have a feeling that being quite mobile will be important. Okay, yep. Confirmed. Crossbow actually does give us range. Look at that. Okay, neat. Let's take a step out of here. Take a shot. Reload. Weapons with the reload property must expend a combat card of matching color to reload. This can be done by selecting the card, then selecting your character. Now remember, we took Dog Charm, so we won't be able to switch Rusty Crossbow during the matches. But what we can do is try to draft cheap combat cards in copper and also big, strong combat cards in copper to get the full value. So this is a combat card. I should be able to expend it. Confirmed. We could have used another strike in the beginning, but I actually don't mind throwing down a crippling trap to slow down the advance of one of these hounds. Like, maybe we cripple this one if they take a step that way. The other one will come towards us, and that's just not a big deal. Oh, weird. Okay. It says expend a combat color card. And guard is a combat card, but it didn't reload, which is kind of surprising. Hold up. We can just use a rock to finish this off. There's one rock damage, plus a couple strikes. And that's a dead hellhound. 3 combo. We weren't far away from a 5 combo there, actually. It's pretty sweet. Somebody dropped a rusty sword. We'll probably take that and put it in our silver slot after this fight. From here, the fight should be mostly solved. I'm reloading! It's interesting. The reload didn't burn an energy. Huh. Okay. Cool. We've got easy range here if we wanted to use it. This would be where we would swap the crossbow, maybe, and get in and just double hit. Instead, I think that I get in and double hit anyway. Let's see if this will still force a reload. I think it will. Okay. Oh, well, hold up. Why did that get a kill? They must have been vulnerable from our trap. They had 7 life left. We hit him with the 5 damage strike. Nani? Something weird. I should have paid closer attention to the damage as it popped up. They must have been vulnerable or something of the sort. We could roll in from here and get 2 attacks in, and that's absolutely going to be worth it. They'll try to take a step back. That opens up strike and rock kill. Oh, Tiki. Okay. This is a painfully earned reminder. I needed this. A painfully earned reminder. You have to use your initiative first. I had forgotten. It's not an effect that I'm accustomed to in other deck builders that I play. It's very, very rare, right? If you do not play this first, it simply disappears. I love it, actually, as a mechanic in the game. I simply forgot. So consider myself reinforced. We'll take our 1 damage, and that'll be a reminder of what we've done. If we didn't have the dog charm, we could move Rusty Crossbow, right? Oops. How to look at items. Oh, maybe it can't open because of dog charm? Anyway, without the dog charm, we switch Rusty Crossbow to the offhand and we get the kill here, but this is okay. Taking damage probably is to our benefit, actually. Rock Lobster? I wonder how much more money we would have gotten if we won last turn. Failed! Okay, so if you take a quest like that, it only lasts for one fight. I mean, the good news is, the only one of them that we would have been able to do is the small health potion, right? Take some number of hits. Science successful. Entertainer. A 2-cost. Deal 14 damage. If target dies, receive rewards from the audience. And this is a 14 damage attack, which we can put into our crossbow hand. And I love that. I think I'm going to make it a point to try to run with range this whole run, just to see how viable that is. Last stand. If we find some crazy two-handed rare event relic, obviously I will renege. But in general, we will attempt this. Okay, extra damage based on fatigues. I do like this kind of weird status build. And stand your ground. We found that to be quite strong before, but let's take Entertainer. That's a nice, big damage hit that we can do from range. Bloody Trap. Place a Bloody Trap within 2 tiles. Another Rusty Crossbow or a Rusty Sword. I don't think that having 2 reloading weapons is necessarily a great idea. I kind of have a feeling that we want to have one of our colors be our big alternating damage reload and our other being kind of support and utility. So let's go Rusty Sword in our silver hand. Take this Bloody Trap. Sell the other crossbow. I feel good about that outcome. Right. We are stronger. This is an interesting layout. Let's take one more fight to try to get one more card, and then we'll rush this elite down, and hopefully at that point we can take 2 more fights no problem and have enough money for a shop. Then we'll probably come here to either forget or switch. We could create this early in the run. Honestly, we could use a meditate to create, but in general, I feel when I think about the relative value of this node between create, forget, and switch, I've got to lean towards forget. It's a rare and expensive effect comparatively. We get to create cards in every fight. And so unless it's helping you stabilize in a really dangerous time, I've got to think that that's the least viable of the 3 choices. But that's just my intuition. Oh my. A lousy fighter. Enemy prepares to gain 16 block. Attack to interrupt. Attack to interrupt? Don't mind if I do. Do we need to move this round? We have a basic strike, which we could use. We could move forward and then also have a rock to throw. That's not bad. Move, strike from range, crippling. Because we can't get into range of anyone to use the basic strike here unless we move this way. So we could go, throw this rock, do a 5 damage strike, and a 5 damage strike, and we'd be at 11. Let's not do that. Okay. Initiative. Toss the rock. We interrupted them. Maybe then we should focus down the slave fighter here, since we can use range to interrupt the lousy fighter pretty easily and eagerly. Crippling trap in case the lousy fighter wants to move towards us. We know for a fact that the slave fighter will move towards us. Do we want to immobilize them? Okay, crippling trap does say applies vulnerable. And 4 damage, so they'd be down to 9, and they'd be taking 50% increase. Our hits right now are doing 5, 2.5 up, and I've seen most of those are rounding up in this game, so we expect 8. So we would still need another hit after that. If we could get to this rock. Still, I think it's correct, because right now they're in 3-hit range, and crippling trap will put them in 2-hit range. So, I think it's correct. They're trying to guard again. I wonder if they just sit there and guard. That'd be kind of wacky. Not planning to move here. I guess we'll just kill off this slave fighter. It's a good thing we used the trap. We wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. See, I'm trying to reload with this combat card, but yeah, it means attack. Okay, they actually advance towards us and they're attacking. Truthfully, that's unexpected. Let's move out. Wait, double checking. Okay, it's an immediate one range attack. So move out. Strike to reload. Entertainer. We should have used the basic strike before moving. That was a mistake. Because we have the energy for it. Again. Oh no, you can't. That's why. Okay. 2 hits, 3 hit, and we're done. The next time I realize that I can't do something and then move, it will be fully integrated into my mech suit. We just need that one more hit. One more hit. We're almost there. We're getting closer. Almost there. We can use roll in this case if we want to do a strike and a strike. I like that. Oh, but we don't have to roll away, huh? Since we've already interrupted them, they're stunned, we can just stand right next to. Hold the roll for a better day. That works. Oh, play the fatigue, right? We don't have any fatigue interactions. They're trying to run away and guard! Stinkers! Absolutely freaking stinky. I forgot that that was a thing that they would do. Now we're gonna take forever to finish this fight. Oh. Poo. Oh well. What are you gonna do? We would need to not break their... Never gonna break my stride. Okay, that's fine. They didn't lose their shield here, so they will advance towards us to try to attack again, and then we can finish the fight in a dazzling way. Oh! Get so dazzled. Cut him off. You've done it. Yeah, we'll take it. Raise shield. We saw this at the beginning of the run. Also, full-on attack. Deal 18 damage. If this card is not retained, it will be exhausted. Or shield charge. Charge 1 tile, knock back for 2 damage, and deal additional damage for each block. If damage is dealt, gain 1 barricade. So this is pretty cool. It does cost 3, but if we land a hit with us, it becomes free. That's easier for us to do because we have dog charm, so we have more energy to start. I kind of wanted this on the previous run, and I wonder if this is arguably better than the defensive strike because it also has movement and utility and it doesn't strip your block. We know that we're going to need more movement effects over time if we have to fight that Act 2 boss again. So I'm going to start to care more about movement, but right now just putting big damage attacks into our deck is going to make a huge difference, right? So it's a hard Hello. It's a hard decision. I think I could see taking a shield charge here. I really feel like this is high utility. The only downside is if we're really playing a lot of range, we're not going to want to be hit much, which disincentivizes block slightly. That being said, some enemies have big range and area attacks, so we're going to have some block. Let's take it. Let's take the shield charge. My intuition is that we will receive benefit from the movement, if nothing else, right? Could have used a bloody trap there. And given how easy it is to come across consumables, we probably should use our consumables more eagerly. I was thinking in the first run, oh, well, we only use it if it saves us life. But the truth is we might also want to use it if it gives us combo or speeds up the fight because of this, as of yet, not completely scienced combo / spectator enjoyment meter. Certainly seems like the more frenzied the combat, the better your rewards. That's the indication that the game is giving, right? Okay. Elite time. Warrior's pride. I'll wait here until there's only 2 of us, says the warrior, pridefully. charge 1 tile. Let's go crippling trap here. Let's go initiative. Crippling trap. We can no longer use the shield charge, unfortunately. This is the downside of these cards, right? I think I'm okay just taking this hit. But I wonder how we could have done this. We would have to move in and then immediately use the shield charge, which means getting less hits, right? So yeah, it just didn't work out. Even as I think about it, it didn't quite work out. Are you not entertained? That's huge. There it is. Immediate loot. We got a broad axe. Increased damage by 3, but adds a fatigue to your hand when a combat... Okay, so hold up. We might be able to use weapons to create a status engine, a fatigue status engine. So what we don't know yet is which way the honor guy will go. I'm expecting them to move northwest here, but I'm hesitant to throw Bloody Trap without first seeing which direction they're moving. I guess we can... Oh, and we can't get quite to that range anyway. I mean, I should be able to work them to the right position. We can wait. We can wait a turn. Okay. Then it's going here. We can move into this shield potion too and have that available for this fight right away, which I like. But here's some science. Here's some good science. If I strike for a reload, does it count as a play for eliminable openers? Let's do the science. It sure does. It sure does. So now we'll have to burn the initiative next turn, which is not ideal, but it's okay. Immobilized. They're attacking for 12. I don't know how shield charge will work against an immobilized enemy. What I know is I'm going to use this shield potion, and then I'm going to attempt to shield charge, and we're going to see. Okay. Wow. Holy crap. Now let me see that again. If damage is dealt, gain 1 barricade. Charge 1 tile, knock back for 2 damage, and deal additional damage for each block. We had 30 block, which is part of why we did so much damage. So we got a stun based on breaking their block then. I didn't know if it was that we got a stun because we knocked back an immobilized enemy. What I've seen is that anytime you damage through an enemy's block, you get a stun. So that's what happened here. And they're vulnerable, so we're doing buku damage. And they're bled. Let's go, baby! This initial hit early on was not necessary, but it let us push the fight very fast, so hopefully it results in better rewards overall. That's my wish, as it were. Kind of think I'm going to roll away here, actually. Get a hit in, reload, roll away, and drop another crippling trap. Play out the fatigue, end the turn. They're running away! They're gonna guard! Dang it! Stinkers! This is fine. Move. Let's actually pick up the broad axe. Oh, we can't unequip because of our dog charm. That's fair. But what I can do is interrupt this guard action with a ranged attack. That did not interrupt the guard action. Because it was not interruptible. Okay. Not every enemy's buff is interruptible in that way, is my learning. Come. Get vulnerable and immobilized.
Do it. Yes.
Okay, 1, 2. Let's block. Shield charge. Damage. Damage. Now they're stunned again, and we should be able to easily finish off this fight. And pick ourselves up a broad axe. Heck yes. Now we know something. This enemy's gonna move away. Because they're gonna try to guard. Ooh! I'm loving the crippling traps. Loving. New cards on offer. You've won the fight. Select a new card. Offered cripple. Silver card, deal 10 damage, apply to vulnerable. Okay. Applying vulnerable is pretty hype. There's also lunge here. Move one tile and attack the tile ahead, deal 6 damage. This is one of those free hit cards. More mobility. Here's the thing though. How does that work with crossbow? This is actually really curious. Will crossbow have unlimited lunge range? That is very curious. Also ignite, deal 1 damage for each burn on target, then apply equal number of burn to all adjacent enemies. This is a key activator for burn if we were going to take it, but I don't think we're going to focus on being a mage. I think we're going to focus on traps, mobility, and strong ranged attacks. That's my desire. A qualifier, by the way. Slay the Spire is perhaps the roguelike deck builder that I've played the most. In fact, it's one of the games that I've played the most. And one of the big pieces of advice that I've given to people is, at some point in time, you have to quit thinking in terms of archetypes, and you have to start thinking in terms of tools in your toolkit. It's not about, it's a burn build, it's a poison build. It's about, what do I need to survive the next challenges, and how am I going to get ahead of curve? And so in the long run, thinking in terms of these simplistic kits, archetypes, the major synergies, naming a mechanic of the game and trying to build around it, in the long run, that is a creative limitation. It will limit the amount that you can win. But when you're starting a game, it's not just valuable, I would argue that it's crucial. We're not prepared to contextualize all of these different ideas because we just haven't seen them enough. We haven't played with them enough. And so I think that playing archetypally when you first start a new game is actually brilliant. I'm gonna build burn. And maybe it's not actually a good run to build burn. Maybe the enemies are wrong. Maybe you don't find the right cards. But doing so will limit the space of decision making so that you can be very focused within that space and learn within that space. I still intend to do a burn run, but I think I decided at the beginning of this ranged run that this is not it, because I want to focus on the ranged and movement mechanics just a little bit more. So that's what's going on in my head. Because I don't tell you what's going on in my head, right? because I'm not constantly telling you exactly what's going on in my head. Okay, Vigilant, gain 6 block, draw 1 card. Cool. Self-replacing actions are pretty nice. Remember, we can click to view upgrades. This goes up to a 10 block. That's just pretty nice. Watchful, gain 2 plus 0 block, increase gain block by 1 each time this card is retained this fight. So there's a lot of stuff here. I'm not going to take Ignite or Watchful. I'm very interested in Cripple, Lunge, and Vigilant. Remember, we do have more energy, which makes it easier to take things like Cripple. Vulnerable should play very nicely into continuing to push high damage. Between our traps and a Cripple, we'd pretty much have enemies vulnerable all the time. That being said, the interaction of Lunge and a ranged weapon is absolutely fascinating to me. It's possible that this is just very, very strong. Do we still move 1 tile and then just attack at range? That would cause this to be really easy to land a hit with. I'm going to take the Lunge because it's possible that that's a divine combo. Absolutely divine. Let's equip this broad axe. This means we're going to be building up fatigues. But this also opens a door to potentially dip back into status or fatigue synergy. Gain Pierce. Deal direct damage for 1 turn. Right, Pierce is through armor. Heard. Oh, hold up, though. We could do Bleed. Wait 1 minute. Increase damage by 0 whenever you deal unblocked damage. Apply 1 bleed. Bleed. Increase damage received by 1. Stack decreases each turn. Daggers and crossbows. Ranged and shiv. And shank and small kunai. Ninja. Ranger. Sneak thief. It's a classic combination, right? Small, high dexterity, agile weaponry, and ranged weaponry. We have crossbow for pushing damage when we've created ground, and when we get close, we use lots of very cheap small attacks to pepper the enemy. What if I want rusty dagger more than broad axe? I mean, I like this heavy thing, or rather, I like the knockback on broad axe. That's a different thing, right? We can put the power move on, knock the enemy back, and we've generated range again. It's a type of movement. And I think in the early game, the +3 damage will feel very good, but I'm uber tempted by something that generates bleed. I think I'm going to stick with broad axe for now, because I think the extra damage will feel clutch. But as we move, I'm going to be looking for a better version of a dagger, because I actually love that combination. A ranged weapon and a dagger, I think that could work really nicely for us. I hadn't thought about that until just now, because we didn't do any bleed stuff in our first run, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of hype. Okay, let's take 2 more fights, push a shop, go to an elite, clear everything, take another shop. I'm probably going to mostly do full clears. It's come to my attention that if you go to the champion before finishing all the nodes, you get a heal commensurate to how much is left. But in general, the nodes themselves are worth so much value that if you can full clear, I don't see why you wouldn't want to unless you're speedrunning. Okay. That is an aggressive start. A charging enemy? I don't know if this enemy is like a rook, if they can go full range. We know that they're getting to us right now. I oh so wish that I had a crippling trap on this turn, huh? And we can't interrupt them. There's 2 hellhounds looking to immobilize us. Charge enemy goes first. Okay. I didn't use this last run, by the way. This is new tech for me. Enemy attack order. Charging enemy, southwest hellhound, northeast hellhound, and then the west Stab Beast, which is just the most incredible name ever, right? Unfortunately, the only position where we can substantially reduce damage would be to move here, which means we'll still end up getting immobilized unless we can kill this enemy. Oh, which we can. Oh, that's hype. Move. Kill a hellhound. I'm just going to eat these fatigues. And go ahead and strike a stab beast at range, because then we can instantly reload. The fact that we can reload just by spending a card indicates to me that we are going to want card draw or card generation of some kind. Okay, Crippling Trap is back. Are you not entertained? We can totally kill someone with Entertainer. And I think we should. I'm also interested in Shield Charge. Maybe we'll Shield Charge this one. Okay, I have an idea. Yeah, because I really want to use this Crippling Trap. So maybe it's move here, Crippling Trap here, Entertainer to kill off this Hellhound. And that means no Shield Charge. I'm having so much trouble getting value out of this. I just feel like I need so much more energy. We could Shield Charge right now and get it for free, but that makes no difference in landing the kill, right? It's just a different positioning, which might be good enough. Actually, it is pretty sweet because, okay, check this out. This is why we're going to do this Shield Charge. So we Shield Charge here. It does a little bit of damage. We get it for free. It pushes the Hellhound here. We crippling trap here. The charging Cyclops can't turn once they start their charge. And they go first. They charge, hit the crippling trap, get stuck. And then they get attacked by the stab beast. Crowd goes wild. Knockback. Oh, wow. A sapping trap. Cool. Crippling trap. Entertainer. We are getting such value. Paralyzing blowgun. Shoot straight forward, apply one stunned. More ranged? Hype? Oh, this is an item. That's fair. Big money dollar. It seems like some items must be rarer. Looking at this sapping trap. Oh, I see. It's always white text under the item and yellow text in the explanation. Got it. I didn't understand that. Oh, hold up. Stab beasts move so far. Did you see that? I thought that they would attack their friend there. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't. Okay, we could use the paralyzing blowgun right now. That could be fun. I've got to see this lunge thing, right? Stun. This means combo. Strike. So lunge is... Look at it! It's the divine combo! Yes! Yes! Okay, so lunge moves us one forward, and then we attack the full range if we have a ranged weapon. Not so useful in this position, unfortunately, but the science! Science! Yes! Okay. Good. Freaking good. This enemy's now incapacitated, and we've got a knockback effect. Check this freaking money dollar play that we're about to make. Lunge. Shoot. Power move. Strike. Get out of my dojo. Fatigue. Fatigue. Intern. Absolutely money dollar. Just covered in it. Out of freaking control, these money dollars. Moving. Reloading. Lunging. Murder, she wrote. Fatigue. Fatigue. Guard. Intern. Stun. Unstun. Keep it up. You're becoming more like your father. What? Boom. Ooh. I'm really liking what ranged weaponry can do for the tactics component of this game. This is like the most excited I've been about playing a video game in quite some time. Seriously, I mean, I hope it's so obvious. I don't think I have to tell you this, but I have been professionally playing games at some capacity for 4 years and change. I have done so many thousands of hours of stream. I have now spent so many millions of hours in DaVinci Resolve over the last 2 months. I play a lot of games, and I'm always having a good time. I don't play any games that I don't like. But there's a level of intrigue here that I haven't felt in a while, because I've been having fun with games, but I haven't been able to sink my teeth into something in the way that I did so long ago with Slay the Spire. I'm really hopeful. I'm really optimistic here with this game. I'm nervous about run length. That's the biggest thing I have to figure out. But frankly, whatever. I mean, if a Slay the Spire run takes me 5 hours and a Alina run takes me 5 hours, there'll be 5 well-fought, super dense hours. Okay, Raise Shield is back. Fire Surge is back. 3 burn to enemies within a frontal diamond. And it does have Fire Starter. Creates flaming tiles within the attack range. Receive 1 burn when occupying a flaming tile. We certainly could consider taking this, even without being burned. just as another mechanism to push out damage. But what's power through? Play all fatigue in your hand, gain 1 strength each. Power through, broad axe, fatigue combination? We should at least consider this, no? Can we build a deck that's tight enough to be consistently activating it? This also really opens the door to our plan to take advantage, potentially, of daggers. A little bit of strength and or a little bit of bleed is going to be the way to scale up those small attacks. I think this opens a door for us. Even if we can't use it effectively right away, I think this opens a door to strength. And that gets me very excited. Rusty shields here. I don't think I'm taking a shield item this run. Genuinely. Pierce over sapping trap. I think I take another trap here over the pierce potion. Which means that the shield charge is a little bit iffy, right? We just need to acknowledge that the shield charge is a little bit iffy as far as takes go, because realistically, we're removing quite a bit of block. We're going to be finding other ways to keep from taking damage. Immobilization, stun, self-heal effects, powerful consumables. And so probably instead of having a deck peppered with a lot of small block cards, we want a couple really big block effects that hopefully we can hit when we need them. And maybe some retention or something. Take one more fight before we go to the shop, because why not be rich? What took so long? Says the crowd, already upset about nothing. Okay, well, we can get an entertainer from the get-go, which seems delightful to me. Move here, kill off the 14 with entertainer right away, and then get a reload right away. Yeah, seems all right. Are you not entertained? The crowd threw in a weakening dust. Interrupt and apply 2 weak to enemies within a frontal arc. We'll take that. The interrupt. That's the kind of thing that we could carry to the boss. All the way. I wonder if it would be advantageous to have 2 ranged weapons. I don't know. I think we're making the right choice by having 1 ranged and 1 melee. Really feels correct to me. Power through, burn our fatigue. Okay. Initiative. Crippling. We actually can't move out of range, but maybe we can get a kill. We certainly can. And I can throw a rock, which gives us more combo, which is exciting. So power through, definitely a dead draw right now. Got him. Shield charge. Puts in the work. Deftly maneuvered. $44. It's kind of feeling like we've been floating around 40 for regular fights. We've had a couple lower and a few higher. I don't know if crowd joy, if that hidden meter has a large effect on how much money you get. Battle stance. Haven't seen this one, or no, I think we've seen it once, but it's been a while. Gain 1 poised and 1. Ah, I talked about this during Demothon, yes. Draw 1 additional card next turn. Next initiative you play costs 0. So this card is very weird to me when you think about it in a vacuum, because you're spending 1 card draw and 1 energy on this turn to have 1 card draw and 1 energy on the next turn. Now, you can imagine that there are turns where that's actually very good. You can't spend all your energy. You're kind of in an awkward position. And if you're frequently having turns that are kind of off like that, then this might even be correct. But in general, this is value neutral, which makes it value negative because it's delayed value. It's negative now for the same amount positive then. I think that if you start to have setup effects, this gets much better, right? If you know that you can convert that additional card and additional effective energy into a nuclear strike on the next turn, if you have retain so you can time effects like this, it gets much better. And it looks like if we upgrade it, we get poised, 2 poised instead of 1. And I don't know if that's 2 cards next turn, or if that's going to be a decaying effect, like we'll get extra card draw for multiple turns. If ever there was a run to where this could make sense, it's this one. We've had a lot of turns to where we're just kind of sitting on energy because we can't re-engage effectively. And so Battle Stance kind of makes sense to me for range. There's also Feint here, though. Deal 6 damage, return a random 0-cost card from discard pile to hand. And I do intend to have 0-cost cards. Follow up, deal 2 damage whenever you move. Return this card from the discard pile to your hand and reduce its cost to 0 this turn. Yo! Is that the money? Let's look at our deck real quick. Is there anything that we can make 0-cost already? No, Lunge will go down to 2 base so that you can use it more eagerly. Same with Shield Charge. These free hit effects just get a little cheaper so that you can use them at weirder parts of the turn. Crippling Trap becomes free, and so that's a really good feint target. The roll eventually becomes free. Power Through does get cheaper, but nothing else is becoming free right now. Entertainer gets huge. We probably should do this upgrade, actually. That's massive, especially with Vulnerable. That's just a big hit. Okay, so I do think that Follow-Up or Feint, are value positive. I'm leaning slightly towards Follow-Up, particularly because of weaponry which can empower it. And I'm intending to have more movements in the deck. We've already got a roll. This might be the run to take the Dark Rolls power. Let's take this Follow-Up and see if we can make it work. It's going to be awkward with the fatigue, truthfully. But we're going to try to make it work. With that pickup, I suspect we end up going away from fatigue, which is going to make the Power Through pick a little bit awkward. But we always knew that this just might not pan out, right? It was a potential investment. Okay, let's train and fix up our Entertainer. I probably shouldn't have done that. I should have left this as a heal in case we need a heal after the Elite. But I think that with the power from the shop, we'll be okay. Buy cards, remove cards, switch card colors. I kind of like this for looking for powers. I'm not that incentivized to upgrade rusty weaponry. It just doesn't feel that good to me. But we could also just buy new weaponry. But if we go cards, we can look for those key powers to start to give us more mobility. And we can cut a regular Silver Strike from the deck, or maybe even a defend, honestly. One of the blocks. Let's do that. We need card removal. Here's Feint. It's back. Razor Sharp. Apply 1 bleed whenever you deal unblocked damage. How does this upgrade? To become 2 cost. Okay. Fast Metabolism. Draw 1 additional card when you draw a status. Oh. Oh! Money? The money combo? Generate fatigues, never play them. This increases the chance that they actually land on the Power Through. Is it so money that I'm willing to spend 237 gold on it? That is a high cost. And right now it's just kind of cutesy. But it really could be correct. Here's an interrupt effect that can become free. That seems real hype. Another Entertainer. I just feel that card costs are very high. I mean, they need to be... This is not just, does it make my deck stronger? It has to be, this is key. This absolutely makes my deck, right? Yeah, really hard to pay for that. Really hard. It's so much. That's a level 2 upgrade to an equipment. Sheesh. And I wanted to get a remove, no? If I get a remove here, we'll be left with 211, which is just shy of fast metabolism. But I can't deny that that's the way to work around this. And we've said if we're removing, it's probably a guard, which I still think is correct. Dang. I think if I press X, I leave also. I wanted to look at the map here. Pressed M. That didn't do it. We're about to be at bosses. You know what? Let's take a leap of faith. I read that the shop offers a lot of powers because players weren't taking them. And part of the reason that players weren't taking them is that they were offered so inconsistently that it was hard to build consistent packages around them. And so adding a bunch of powers to the shop was a way that the devs hoped to balance the game to make it slightly more possible to actually build around specific powers. And this fast metabolism thing could work. It would also be a soft counter to Frostbite boss. And I didn't think about that. Enemies that give you statuses, right? Let's take a leap of faith here. Let's spend 237 gold on fast metabolism. Truthfully, I just can't imagine that that's value positive. But we're going to do it. And we're going to make it work. And then what? Is it worth buying this throw dirt? No, we need to save some money for the next shop. Having follow-up in red is a curious idea too, actually, or in copper, because we could use it for reloads. And it's not a bad idea. I think I like it in the silver, but I could totally see that working nicely. This upgrades to be free. That's so nice. Hopefully we'll find some other effects like that, though. I feel strongly that we need to save some money. We have another shop that we intend to get value out of now. Create, forget, switch. Forget, a block. And then another elite. A Hellhound Plus. 40 block, 40 health Hellhound. And the Prowler, who's got range. They set up a couple crippling traps. If I recall correctly, they can get snared in their own crippling traps. Attack, order, Hellhound, and then Prowler. And this Hellhound will snag us. We should definitely be attacking this turn. We can use shield charge to make that happen. And then just get snagged up here. I mean, it's not the end of the world. And then we're focusing down the Hellhound. I think that's acceptable, actually. This means we are going to get snagged, but that's going to be in time for the enemy to have to reload. We could interrupt them. I think I'd rather interrupt them next turn. Play out a fatigue in case we can't afford to play our power. It's not upgraded yet, so it still costs 3. Let's see how bad this snag is. Now we're snagged. Entertainer's here. It wouldn't get the kill, but it would break their shield, which should interrupt them. Oh, power through here is going to be sweet. If we can afford it. Gosh, we need energy somehow. We still need so much energy. Broken! A shield potion, sweet. Okay, so power through's not happening this round, that's fine. We'll just get the attacks in then. Certainly the play. Next turn we can move into this shield potion and probably do an interrupt. There's fast metabolism. Seems correct, no? Other option is to go to this dagger. Thinking. With the number of statuses we played out and the amount of health that's left to do, I think we need to plan very strongly to play this fast metabolism. The enemy is doing a pretty good job trying to get us cornered, and doing an excellent job using their traps to divide the field. I think I like standing on this shield potion, and then we can use it next turn if needs be, right? Reload. Fast metabolism. Oh, follow-up came back. Nice. Because we moved. Having played fast metabolism, this fatigue will actually be draw neutral. Okay, they're going for snag again. Look at that hand. Max hand size is 10 in this game, so par for the course. Certainly seems like a time to move away and use a crippling trap. But I really want this shield potion for the road. So do we use the weakening dust? That lets us get this strike in. Sure. Just picking this up. Aha! Mail Breaker. Increase damage by 1. Whenever you deal unblocked damage, apply 1 bleed. Let's go. Power move, deal piercing damage. This is it. This is it. This is the upgraded dagger that we hope to see. That's going to be our replacement for this broad axe. That means that we're going to be making less statuses, which means our potential power through combo gets weaker, but I think that that's too good to pass up. It's going to reduce our immediate damage out slightly, but I think I really like it. Where we're headed. We'll find other ways to make statuses. There will be other good cards that open that door for us. Crippling trap here so that they have to move close to us or else get immobilized if they're going to try to move. Play out a fatigue so that we don't overdraw. Nice. Now they're nice and close. We do have power through, but only on 1 fatigue for now. Our roll is on 1. This is a complicated turn, actually. No way for us to interrupt the Prowler, nor are we going to be able to block them in full. But what we could do is follow up, strike. Gosh, we're 1 energy short of like a ludicrous turn. If we could go follow up, strike, roll, power through, it would be so strong. What are you gonna do? Hold up. Oh, I messed it up. No, because there's nowhere safe to move. If this was not a ranged attack, we could have done follow-up, roll, follow-up, power through, and that would have been the money move. But we can't actually do that, can we? Dang it. So close to being so good. If only I had the range. We could have used the shield potion there, I guess, right? That was an option available to us. Now we're talking. It'd be cool if we had a way to disarm these. I think we're just gonna have to eat one at some point. Just need to accept that. Yeah, and maybe eating a damage there was correct. We can do some science. See if immobilization interrupts our turn. I'm gonna take the 4 damage here. No, but then we'll be stuck getting hit. We can't afford to... Dang it. It's so... Science is so hard! What I wanted to do was lunge in and see if that interrupts the lunge damage, but we just can't do it. And that's okay. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. If only I still had that roll. But we can power through on this turn to great effect. We need to eat this hit. Or else we'll never finish this fight. We would only get half of the value of this shield potion, or rather about a third of it. But it might be worth it here. I don't know. We can probably just take 11 damage and carry the potion, right? We'll just take this hit. It has a knockback effect. That was somewhat unexpected. And roll resets, also unexpected. So close. Power through. We actually have to move and dodge. And then hit him with the crippling trap. All right, it's time. Are you not entertained? 9 damage rock. Okay. Your popularity is going up. Wow. Defeat Hellhound plus Prowler. New card unlocked. Crippling Trap. Hey. I know this card. All right. That was fantastic. I mean, we used health as a resource there, which I think is important. So we remember Refocus from our previous run. This is a card cycle. Gain 5 block, discard your whole hand. For each card discarded, draw 1 additional card and gain 1 additional block. There's also Jump Attack, which is another mobility attack. Move forward and deal 8 damage, multiply total damage by 1.5, so any strength will work really nicely here. Shield charges back, no pain, no gain, lose 4 HP, gain 1 energy. Upgrades to lose 4 HP, gain 1 energy, draw 1 card. That's pretty sweet. If we still had the Vampiric Slash, I'd be all over this because we'll heal it off. It's just acceleration, right? I still think I'm kind of tempted. And Leverage. Deal 6 damage, discard 1 card, move 1 tile back. Interesting. A Disengage. That's appropriate. Let's take this Jump Attack. I love this move and shoot thing that we've been doing. We'll start to get rid of some basic strikes. Okay, let's switch Broadaxe to Mailbreaker. Increase damage by 1 whenever you deal unblocked damage, apply 1 bleed. I think that'll work really nicely with the small hits. I'm excited to get it upgraded. It has a built-in piercing damage power effect. Honestly, I think that the knockback might be better. Maybe this is misguided. Maybe I'm anchoring, right? We got so excited about the potential of having a small weapon. Maybe the broadaxe is just better. We could have used knockback there at the end as an example to save that damage. We should have. That was the play. Power move, broadaxe with the knockback, knock that enemy back and save the 11 life. There we go. That's a huge learning. I'm not even thinking about this power move, and it's limiting the efficacy of this item. And the fatigues have become mostly value with the power that we took, right? It's a build around now. Piercing damage, I mean, doesn't come up in that many fights. And you know what? I think we're anchoring. I actually think broadaxe is just better for us at this point, and we should look into getting it upgraded. It's already a solid weapon, and it's very relevant. What we need to do is find a better ranged weapon. That's the missing ingredient. Okay, 245 gold. We could rest. I'm not gonna. Let's train. We have so much energy that we need to acquire. Let's get fast metabolism cheaper to make sure that we can play it, and then crippling trap and power through. Meditate for another forget. I'm gonna remove another basic guard. We should probably be picking up some big blocks when we see them. But for now, block out. Damage in. Ooh! Joltix! All right! I like this fight. Shield charge, but no shield. Classic. I can do damage from range and avoid spiky. Wicked. Let's do that. Go ahead and get ourselves a fatigue for the cycle. I'm surrounded! I have an idea. Will I take the spiky damage here? First off, let's find out. We sure do. Now, if I use knockback, will we take the spiky? I'm doing so much science right now. We sure do. So the only way to avoid it is ranged attacks. Checks out. I wish we had set up to use lunge here, but we didn't, and that's okay. The biggest power through ever. Entertain! Yes, it's time for this. Good. This is interesting. So, technically this is a ranged attack. So this should work. Yep. It did work. Yes, I will place a trap there. It does lose us one item, but I think that's okay. If we had slightly more energy, we would jump attack here. Next time. Take this, says the enemy. I think we can lunge at them and then get the kill. Into a shield charge. Too bad we can't afford to guard and shield charge. It's not quite enough damage, is it? Yeah, honestly, we're probably shield charging out. Nice move. Thanks. Preach. GG. Nice clean fight. We got some good science in there too. Even if you're at point blank range, ranged attacks do not take spikes damage. Killing attacks do take spike damage if they're melee. Knockback attacks do take spike damage if they're melee. Select a new card. This is all new stuff. Trump card. Pick one card from your hand to retain until played. Until played, and it goes to 0. That's cool. Deflect. It's just a 14 block that goes up to a 20. That's pretty nice. And rope hook. Rope dart. Pull a target within 2 tiles to you or pull yourself to the arena walls. Movement. That becomes free. Let's take it. Movement is a form of block, and it's block that's cheap. We have energy problems. Needle. We don't have a lot of health left for the champion, but we've got some. Maybe it's time to upgrade one of our items, huh? Alternatively, we do need more removals. I mean, seriously, it's becoming a big thing for this deck. Lunge and jump attack and entertainer. And rope hook and follow up. And roll, crippling trap, power through, and fast metabolism are just so much better than anything else. So much better. But buy weapons, upgrade weapons. We can start upgrading our axe. Maybe we do that. Yeah, and we can get more power move. Let's go cards again. Once again, I'm gonna go for a removal, I think. Breach! Deal 6 damage, draw 1 card, and gain 2 momentum for each enemy attacked. For each enemy attacked. So you would need, like, pass through, or you'd need a... This is most effective if you've got a sweeping weapon, like a broadsword. Okay. Adrenaline skill, gain 2 energy. Upgrades to gain 3 energy. Wow. Reflex power. Gain block whenever you deal damage. That's pretty sweet. That would be a good way for us to get some block. It's just too expensive. The powers are way too expensive to be able to justify taking them all the time, I think. Let's go for this removal as planned. Getting rid of more basic guards. Feels very correct in this run. Swipe is not bad. And with the plus damage, it's quite a lot of attack value, actually. But I think we're saving money for a big shop next act still, or a big event. Okay, event? You wake up to find yourself tied to an operating table. Don't worry, such experiments are perfectly normal in the arena. A small figure squeaks as they approach. Oh, squeak.
After all, what better use is there for the lowlifes here? Now come, which one do you want to try? I look forward to the results.
Choose the red syringe. Lose 10% of your current HP. -4. Receive vampire's blood. Restore 2 HP when you kill an enemy. Okay. Choose the black syringe. Lose 10% of your current HP. -4. Receive werewolf's blood. Gain 2 strength when you kill an enemy. Why not both? Lose 90% of your current HP. -35. Receive both abilities. This is a different boss than we got last time. I was like, this will be fine. It's a single target fight. What do you mean you have range? I have range. Okay. We have 4 health. We're fighting the Spider Queen, who I've not seen. Spawn eggs. Enemy prepares to deal 7 damage. Massive. Cannot be... Oh, no, we did fight this fight. I've seen this fight. We fought this fight, or something like it. We fought this fight. I'm thinking of an elite fight. Yeah. We've done this. Okay, manageable. Its spawn are weak and small. We just have to make sure we kill them consistently. Take advantage of all of our effects. Take advantage of our shield potion. And keep our blood. Oh, and we're gonna get healing too. This is an enemy. I mean, I don't think there's minion effects in this game. Well, we're gonna find out. Science. Dang it, we need to play power through. Oh, we can. Or rather, fast metabolism. Okay, so we go initiative. Keel. That is not a keel. That's fine. We'll get a hit in. Selfie. Oh! Wait, it was a kill. Why was it saying 5? Something really weird happened. That enemy had 7 life. We were attacking with a strike, which is base damage 4. We have +1 damage because of rusty crossbow, which is 5. Now, we killed it, and now they say 7 because we got +2 strength from our werewolf's blood proccing. But why did we kill it? Why did it say 7 before? It's almost like it checked if it would be dead if we had the strength, and so it killed it and we got the strength? What am I missing? We don't have a beginning of combat plus damage effect. We don't have a if you move, deal extra damage effect. I feel like I'm crazy. I'm sure the second I finish recording and I post this video, it'll come to me, and I'm sure that someone will find it in the comments, and by our powers combined, we will know what happened. But I'm happy. I'm glad that I got that kill. That's great for us. Absolutely fantastic outcome. No! That's too many. Okay. They're trying to hatch. Uninterruptible. Cannot be moved. But what if I just kill it? Is that not an effective... Now jump attack. You totally can kill it, and it totally counts as an enemy for scaling. We are the best. Tiki number 1. Reload. Crippling trap here to stop this enemy. Okay, so we're just gonna circle strafe around this spider queen forever until we're strong enough to one-shot it. Oh my god, it makes so many spiders. Oh, I wish I had taken the AoE. All right, lesson learned. Entertainer. Yo, that's a big hit. Rope hook. Yes! Yes! Let's go! Okay. So cool. I'm glad we took that. It's very relevant. And it'll give us a follow-up back, which maybe then we can use. This enemy's immobilized. So we follow up to kill this one. We rope hook out of here, and then we shoot this one with Entertainer. It's so crazy. Okay, follow up. Rope hook. Are you not entertained? Shoot it. Oh, is it too far? No way. So we should have shot before we rope hooked. Yo, okay, heard. Heard. I didn't think that there was a... I didn't think the range was limited to 3. It doesn't really say anywhere. Well, that's too bad, actually. That's a very relevant loss of output right now. Like, it's a pretty big deal. Dang it. Okay. Okay. So be it. They're making more spiders. Can we interrupt this? I don't want to learn about the rock. I want to know about this attack. Okay. Rope hook is back. Deteriorate. Each time it's played, it goes up. Okay. Got it. Yo, is that a health potion? Do you really love me? You mean it? What? You know what? We could have done something better with this rope hook. We could have killed both of these. We could have killed this one. Like, moved in, killed this with strike, rope hooked out, and then lunged. And that would be sweet. Oh, I don't know that we could afford it, actually. Come to think of it. We might just want to use this. It's going to give us so much more flexibility in this fight. Dang it. It's hard to do this, but I would rather take the health potion forward, but at the end of the day, this fight's going to be too hard if we can't take a hit or two. And I don't want to leave it on the ground and then have to try to maneuver back. I think this just opens us up so much. Cool that they can shoot their own spiders. Absolutely neat. A follow-up. A shield charge. A great blade just got dropped. Increased damage by 3, area attack. And then we can increase attack range. Power move. Great blade might be kind of cool over broad axe. It means less fatigues, which is part of our chombo. Right now, this jump attack seems like it would be kind of nuts, huh? We're really hoping to draw the big power-up turn, huh? We might be asking too much, truthfully. Let's get rid of some of them. Can't believe we found that heal. That's such a big deal. It's trying to bite us for 20? No. Don't. We drew power through without any status. Oh, it's the bottom of the deck. Okay. I was concerned. Nice follow-up. That means we can use Entertainer here to just push damage against the boss, which it's time to do, frankly. Let's make one more fatigue in the deck, huh? They moved forward and then, like, went back. So strange. Okay, we have a lunge here if we want to close the distance to the boss and then go ahead and kill this close one. I like that. Lunge. Strike. Kill this. Yeah, crush him! We'll put a crippling trap behind the boss. And then just play out a couple fatigues. More spode is needed. Power through, oh my gosh. And then we roll out. This is a huge turn. So we go strike. Strike. Power through. We totally could have sat on that health potion. But I think it was a reasonable choice. I mean, we really could get backed into a corner. Roll. We have 26 strength. Hello? That's too many spiders! Spawn eggs, could you not? Kindly. Oh, we can knock it into the crippling trap? Yo, it's time for money. We can initiative, jump attack. No. Initiative. Shield charge. Follow up. And then disengage. Because I think we're going to have to kill everything. Is my understanding. We could have gotten the kill on the boss right there, though, and probably should have, to be honest. Because now we're pretty well trapped, huh? Like, what are we going to do with this? If only we could just move in. What we can do is use the rope hook at the end. I guess that's fine. We can rope hook right now and then move out. Yeah. This is not... This ain't it. I think we just have to take this hit, which I don't love. I don't see a superior option. Yeah, the number of egg spawn is going. We definitely should have gotten the kill last turn. It definitely was a mistake, but that's okay. I think I'm feeling a little bit better. In general, like, we're in a tough position, but it's not impossible. Strike and then lunge, and we're done. I think we'll still have to kill the other stuff, if I remember correctly, but still. Oh no, we don't have to clean up the eggs. Perfect. Okay. GG. A little bit of sloppiness towards the end, but really not so bad. Not so bad. A reminder that one of our Act 1 bosses, I don't know how many there are, is Spider Queen, where AoE is so useful. The mobility was incredibly useful, though. A little bit of sloppiness towards the end where we could have killed, and honestly, we could have no-hit that fight. We didn't have to take that health potion, which is crazy. But it was likely to get destroyed during combat anyway, so I don't mind using it. It gave us so many guarantees. And now we get to leave with Vampire's Blood and Werewolf's Blood and the Dog Charm. We are so much stronger leaving Act 1 than we were in the previous run. Minus the nuclear damage. I mean, we were able to do such big damage with our defensive strike, but this is awesome. New card unlocked, double take. Clone one card in your hand and place on top of your draw pile. Cool. Won the fight, select a new card. Double take, which we just unlocked. Cool. Final blow. Retain effect. Brand. Pyrophobia. Another rope hook. Love it. Throw dirt. Love it. Wow. Wow, that's tough. More mobility or more interrupt? I think we want the interrupt here over the mobility because sometimes we're going to be stuck. Either immobilized ourselves or surrounded, as we showed in this fight. Throw dirt here would have been incredible. So let's take throw dirt. We have a lot of upgrades to get. Here's Great Blade back. It's a two-hand, though, and I think we know what we're planning to do. We need to find a better ranged weapon. Dang, I'm all excited for the rest of this run. Okay, we already have Dog Charm, now Wolf Charm. Gain 1 energy each turn, receive 1 hesitation whenever you move. Hesitation status. At the end of your turn, permanently reduce cost by 1. Now let's look at something here. Power Through says, play all fatigue in hand, gain 1 strength for each. Fast Metabolism, though, says draw through statuses. Okay. So, hesitation is a status. Hesitation says at the end of your turn, permanently reduce cost by 1. So, it's just a bit of a slowdown. But it should work really nicely with our deck. This is probably very takeable. Berserker Bracer. Gain 1 strength whenever you receive damage. That's not for this run. Earth Bracer. Gain 2 strength at the start of each fight. This is Wolf Charm. Dog and Wolf, by our powers combined. Oh, no! Oh, no! Wait. Oh, I've been so duped! Not like this! We were supposed to take the 2 strength. Because we only have 1 necklace slot. We were supposed to take a gauntlet. Okay. We hadn't run into this mechanic yet. You don't get to just stack relics in this game, unfortunately. You have 1 necklace slot by default and 1 gauntlet slot. I guess that's the downside of taking a boss relic in the beginning with your kill coins. Okay, that makes sense. So you get stronger initially, but you limit your total scaling. I really wish I could go back now, honestly. I would love to go back and just take the 2 strength, because that's a gauntlet, which we could totally take. Well, I might still switch to Wolf Charm. This opens us back up to being able to swap. No, we need fatigues. Yeah, we're just leaving this. Bye. Tough. Tough. Dang it. I would have liked the gauntlet. But that's okay. I'm certainly not going to frown at the one thing after having such an incredible, amazing act. Amazing act. Hopefully more amazing fights and building and learnings to come, but we're going to have to find those in the next video. Thank you all so very much for joining me. I've been having such a blast with Alina of the Arena, and I'm quite excited for the rest of this series to play through the game, to find the interactions, and to improve in our understanding of what I really think is a gem. I mean, I think that this game is the game I've been looking for. Roguelike deck builder with stronger tactics component without being overwhelming or watering down the gameplay. Such a blast so far, so many incredible interactions. If you did enjoy playing this game alongside me, look at the description down below. If you'd really like to check out the game, it'll have a link for where you can go to find it. And please, like, subscribe, comment, all of your engagement not only helps other people to find this channel, but helps show me that you want more of this. Let me know. Vote with your view and with your engagement, because there's only so many hours in the day. I can only play so many games and do so many series, and so I want to know which you're enjoying the most. Otherwise, thanks for joining me, folks. Again, hope you've had a lovely day, and I look forward to catching you in the next episode of Alina of the Arena. Cheers for now.